Good evening, everybody. Today we're going to be making some command line conveniences with my project Pipedown. So Pipedown is a tool that allows you to uh, generate JavaScript from your markdown files. It will read all of your code blocks and produce some useful JavaScript modules. And ever since I started developing this project, um, I always had this one like test example in my belt that I would keep reaching for just to like sanity check everything was still working as expected. And if you even check out the pipe down source on Google, you'll find that example. So I would often be like imagining this little utility to uh, reach out to Wikipedia or like the NASA images and grab one of these like beautiful images as a background wallpaper. So obviously, I went ahead and made this into a pipe down file. So for instance, it would be great if we could grab this image and dump it into our wallpaper and just call it a day, right? Uh, so naturally, yes, that is already working. We have that script. It does the job, right? It will call out to Wikipedia, grab the image, dump it into our file system, and then do some Mac magic to update the uh, wallpaper. All good and well, right? These are basic capabilities of Pipedown. What is very cool, and what I would like to demonstrate today, is how we can go from a script, a little tool like that, and make it much more ergonomic to reach for whenever we might desire. So there are a few options built into Pipedown, right? So the core functionality of Pipedown will generate TypeScript files. So, why don't I just show you here? So if we look inside of the Pipedown generated directory, inside of the wiki wallpaper directory, you'll see for this one markdown file, we have generated all of these pieces. And this means you could use this utility in a CLI context, as a server, as a worker in a browser. Though of course, can't imagine this script working in that context. But this is generated for every single pipe that you produce as a convenience to like maximize the leverage of your pipes. So when we PD run this wiki wallpaper automator, what it's calling is that CLI file here, right? So this is just a simple wrapper that will call out to the pipe and read the command line args and pass it into the pipe. So when we PD run wiki, it's going to do the job, and then in a few seconds it will update the background image. Perfect. That's what we wanted. So this is one way, and it's still a fairly simple option to utilize. However, because Pipedown is built on top of Dino, and if you're not already using Dino, you should be using the best JavaScript runtime. We have some other options. So for instance, Dino allows us to compile our JavaScript applications into a binary. So it essentially smushes the whole Dino runtime into one binary object along with your code. ready to use. So I think I have an example here somewhere. There we go. So we can compile this into a binary object. So that now shows up in our file system. And if all goes well, we could just do exactly the same thing we just did. But now we're executing in a completely shareable, executable format that could be passed around to all of your friends for whatever reason you might have. So this is a common issue with the Wiki API. I suspect they're trying to prevent abuse. So generally on the second run, it will do the job if there's an error. Cool. So great, we could distribute a binary version of this script to the entire universe because aliens need decent wallpapers too. But I think the most handy mechanism, at least for local usage, is to um, utilize another handy Dino helper here called Dino install. And this one allows you to, well, all it does is write a little bash wrapper around your script, pointing directly to your JavaScript file, but makes that available everywhere on your system. So as an example, let's go ahead and do it. So what we're going to do here is Dino install globally. We're going to force it to reinstall if it's already existing and make sure it has all the permissions it needs. And then we give it this handy alias so that, yeah, we can use this on our command line rather than the longer name. And then notice that we're pointing it towards this command line interface wrapper for our pipe. So if we run this, it's extremely fast. And now everywhere in our file system, we have this convenient utility, which again is going to do exactly the same thing. There we go. Awesome. Cool. So these are three ways in which we can use our pipes. We can PD run, we can Dino compile them, or we can Dino install them. Super cool. And on top of that, right? So all of this is just there for you to use with Pipedown out of the box. All of this handiness is on top of fun stuff like, yeah, we could even serve our daily wallpaper thingy as a server, right? So what this is doing under the hood is using the baked-in Dino server. Again, we just have a very light wrapper around that to so that whenever we pass requests to the server, that request object is fed into the pipe, right? So you can see how having a consistent format for our modules grants us this massive utility, right, of packaging them up in yeah, in well, because the inputs and outputs are always consistently formatted, right? We can wrap them up in any number of ways, and I have plans to extend this greatly. So what we've done is we've served up this this pipeline on this address. So as soon as we hit this, it's going to do exactly the same thing it was doing before, right? So if we make a request to that API, it's now going to just run the same script just as we did from the command line, just as we did from the binary, right? But now it's in being triggered by a HTTP call, right? So there are innumerable ways you can package up these pipelines and just yield, extreme flexibility from them. Um, on top of this, it keeps going. You can actually extend Pipedown's wrappers with your own. So I have an example of that in here. I can't remember. Yeah, so this is again a very light wrapper around the concept of the pipe. This would be written to all of your pipe down directories, just as you saw on the command line just now. But this could be your handcrafted wrapper. In this case, it's for the Cloudflare like execution environment, Cloudflare functions, whatever they're called. Um, yeah, so all it does is drop in the pipeline down here somewhere. Yeah, there we go. So it just calls the pipe and passes in any useful information from the request environment, and then submits a response, right, in the appropriate manner. And then you would configure this from the config file. So when you PD build, it will read this value from the config, look for this file, and write it to every single directory, so that next time you looked inside of here, you would see also a Dino Flare wrapper that you could leverage to. Okay, I hope this was an interesting dive into how you can take your pipe down pipes and package them up for whatever use case you might have, right? Um, maximize your markdown, folks. Good night.